So I wrote a column over the weekend that I knew would be controversial, that I knew would be conflated, would be mischaracterized, misinterpreted, and spun in all sorts of different directions. But it was a column that needed to be run. And it involves a judge for whom I have immense respect, Clifton Newman, who presided over the main event of the Murdaugh murders, crime, and corruption saga, the double homicide trial of convicted killer Alex Murdaugh. I've often written that Judge Newman, whether in the pre-trial motions for the Murdaugh proceedings, the 6-week trial itself, or the aftermath of that trial, has defined judicial integrity in a state that badly needed a dose of that, given the chronic injustice it seems to dole out. But I've written that Judge Newman was single-handedly restoring public faith and confidence in that system. And frankly, that's what he did during the Murdaugh trial. And since that trial, I want to be clear, Judge Newman has done nothing wrong. He has shared thoughts on those proceedings that not only are what most of us were thinking, but he's expressed those thoughts in a very diplomatic, even-keeled way, just the way he handled himself during the trial itself. But those comments, as magnanimously delivered as they were, as thoughtful as they were, nonetheless have created an opening as this case now comes back to Newman from the South Carolina Appeals Court. That's right. This case is back in Newman's hands after the appeals court suspended Alex Murdaugh's appeal to investigate allegations of jury tampering. I don't know whether these allegations have merit, folks. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. It's clear that there should be an investigation into those allegations. But what we'll find, I don't know at this point. But what I do know is that having articulated a very clear opinion as to Alex Murdaugh's guilt as it relates to this trial, and again, I believe he's guilty too. I think most people watching this believe he's guilty. I also think most people watching this would argue he received a fair trial. Certainly I think that, until proven wrong. But that's not the question we have to ask ourselves at this point. The question we have to ask ourselves at this point is whether Judge Newman could, and by extension should, preside over the jury tampering hearing. I believe the answer to the first question is yes, he absolutely could. I have that much faith in his integrity. But should he? And the answer to that question, I believe, is no. Again, based on the statements he's made to his alma mater, to the media, in the aftermath of the trial. And again, Judge Newman has done nothing wrong. He said nothing wrong. He said, again, what we all have been thinking. And in fact, he articulated in his sentencing of Alex Murdaugh something I think a lot of us were feeling about Murdaugh being haunted by the visions of his victims when he tried to sleep at night. But that chiding, that reprimand, those words, to me, they come with a price. And the price is that, again, Judge Newman has made clear where he stands on this case. And while I believe he could maintain impartiality over Murdaugh matters moving forward, I believe integrity demands that he step aside and recuse himself from any further involvement in Murdaugh cases. I know a lot of folks think I'm shilling for the defense on that. I know a lot of folks have conflated this into some sort of criticism of Judge Newman. I assure you it is neither of those things. But the level of integrity that Clifton Newman has displayed at every point up to this point, I believe demands that he take that next step and once again show the state of South Carolina just how much integrity he truly has. That's why I wrote that column, and that's why I believe that Judge Newman should recuse himself from further Murdaugh matters.